Namaste from Norway, friends. My name is Arvind and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I will be telling you guys all about the PhDs in Norway. Just one fun fact. Do you guys know that only on an average about 2% of the population holds a PhD degree? And if you are interested to know that how you can get a PhD degree in Norway, then please watch this video till the end. This video will be a bit lengthy than it usually is. And the reason is because I will be elaborating all the steps. For example, I will tell you where you can find a job which is in regards to the PhD, how you can apply for a PhD, what is the stipend that you get, and what are the other benefits. And finally, I will be sharing my own experience as a PhD candidate at University of Stavanger. So guys, before diving deep into the application process, into the boring stuff, let me tell you the salary and the benefits which you as a PhD candidate are entitled to in Norway. So now let's talk about how much are you paid when you are doing research and when you are toiling hard, right? So one fact which I would like to tell you is that in Norway, when you are doing PhD, you're not a student. You are an employee of the university where you're doing your PhD. And since you're an employee, so it means that you get a salary which is called as a stipend. And the stipends of the PhD is amongst one of the highest in the world. Now, if we compare the statistics, in the US, the general stipend per month which a PhD candidate would get is around 2,000 to 3,000 US dollars, in between that. But in Norway, this amount is huge, let me tell you. And after tax, what you get is around 30,000 NOK per month, which means around 2.4 lakhs per month. Besides this, there are other benefits when you're doing PhD. So the first benefit which you get as a PhD employee is that you get a lump sum of around 120,000 NOK, which now I believe is 140,000 NOK for the 3 years, which you can spend on attending international conferences. And let me tell you, this is a very huge amount and a very good amount. Just based on this amount, I have attended more than 10 to 12 conferences during my tenure of 3 years. So what does that mean? It means that you get a chance to meet a lot of intellectuals. You get a chance to network with them, and which is very important during a PhD and also after a PhD. And at the same time, you are touring new countries and exploring the world, and your university is paying. What's better than that? Second benefit is that there is something called as a mobility grant. So what this mobility grant means is that for the period of 3 months to 6 months, you are allowed to go into any research institute of the world which is doing the same research as your research interests. So now for my case, this was a boon. Because of this mobility grant, I actually went to NASA Ames Research Center in California. The third benefit which you get as a PhD employee is that you get your Norwegian classes for free. And if you have to do these classes outside of the university, then you have to pay around 10 to 15,000 NOK. So besides that, since you are an employee, right, you are directly into the Norwegian insurance scheme, which means that all of the social security benefits which I talked about in this video, okay, you are entitled to all of those social security benefits. Fourth and the most versatile benefit, which you will only find in the universities in Europe, is that you can attend summer schools within Europe in most of the countries for free. And this is again a very swashbuckling experience. So these are the benefits of being a PhD employee at the universities. But now let's see that how can you find these jobs and how you can apply for these jobs so that you can avail these benefits. So guys, the first logical question which comes to our mind is that where can we find the vacant positions for the PhD? Now I will show you on the screen one website which is called as in English Job Norge, and in Norwegian that would be Job Norge. So I will be showing you that how you can search for the PhD positions. So okay, now you can see the web page of Google. So over here I will say Job Norge, as you can see here. So we go to this page and now we click this, and now this is in Norwegian. So you just go to this tab, press language, and now we can select. But what you can do is you just say PhD. You can just write PhD and then you say search. And now over here you see, right, you can see all of the PhD positions. So there are 132 vacant positions. You can order them by deadline. So if you say, so now you can see the University of Stavanger. So the deadline is 12/5/2019. So now we have arranged them as per the deadline. Or what you can say is when they were published. Last week these were published. So this is a very good website, I would say, where you can find all the PhD positions, all the vacant positions in PhD in Norway. So next step is, what is the eligibility criteria and how you can apply for these vacant PhD positions. So now again, I will show you on the screen that what is the eligibility criteria. So over here, we are on the Jobb Norge website. And as you see, this one is a vacant position at University of Stavanger. So we will just click on it, and once we click on it, it will actually redirect us to the University of Stavanger website. And here you can see, you can read all about the job description in here. So this is about health sciences, and if you are interested to read about the project, you can go and read in here. But if you scroll down, right, you can read about the qualification requirements in here. So I want you guys to focus on 2-3 things. So the first point is that you should have a 5-year master's degree. What does that mean? So now in India, generally we have a 2 years of master's degree, but when they say 5 years of master degree, in here they mean that it is a combination of a bachelor's and a master's. So generally, if you follow the Indian scale, there we have 4 years of bachelor's degree and 2 years of master's degree. So this sums up to 6 years. Then the second thing what they say is that your average grade, is some confusion going about this point, that is, what is grade B? And I mean, it depends from country to country. So I have put in some links in the description which you can read through and you will get more information about it. And now comes the application process. So the application process, actually, if you are interested in this in particular PhD position, you have to go on the Jobb Norge website and just follow all of the points which are given in there. You have to create your login ID, you have to create your account, and after that you have to give in certain documents. So generally the documents which are required are your CV, your master's diploma and transcripts, and your bachelor's diploma or degree and transcripts. And besides this, a letter of recommendation and 2 or 3 references. That is what is required. So now you have cracked your interview and you have been offered this PhD position. So the next thing what comes into our mind is that what is the tenure of PhD? Now generally there are 2 ways. The first is a 3-year PhD and the second is a 4-year PhD. So what's the difference between these two? In a 4 years PhD, what you have to do is that besides researching, you also have to teach for about 25%. And that is why your tenure, which is generally for 3 years, if it is a research based PhD, that is increased by 1 year. So that is the only 2 possible scenarios which you have in Norway. And generally when you are given offer letter, in that offer letter it is clearly mentioned whether it's a 3 years or a 4 years PhD. Okay, besides the tenure, there is one very important factor, that is you must know that how many credits you are supposed to complete in your PhD. So generally a PhD, if whether it is 3 years or it is 4 years, it is equal to 180 European credit transfer system. And out of that 180 credits, 30 credits is for your coursework and rest 150 credits is for your PhD thesis. And in the coursework as well, there are 2 mandatory courses which are of 5 credits each, and then there are 2 10 credits of the optional courses which you can take depending upon what your field of research is. And when it comes to compile your thesis, which is of 150 credits, over there you have 2 options. One is that either you can write a monologue, which means that it is just kind of a book, or the second is that it is a paper-based thesis. But generally now in Norway, more of the focus is towards the paper-based thesis, and as far as I know that the rules are getting stricter, that at least in 3 years you should have published certain number of papers in good journals and good international conferences. And finally, I would like to share my own experience as a PhD candidate at University of Stavanger. It was a 3 years program for me, And to be honest, for me it was a life-changing experience, because during these 3 years I've learned so much, not just academically but personally as well, and I always believe that when you do a PhD, when you're doing research, you are actually going into a different zone, and this doing research, that becomes a part of your life. All in all, I would say that whether it was financially, whether it was in terms of academics, or in terms of attending conferences and roaming the whole world, it has been a very enriching experience, and I wish you all best of luck. If you guys want to apply for a PhD and you have any other questions, please comment below, or you can even email it to me. And don't forget to share this video, subscribe to our channel, and if you like it genuinely, then please like it. So that's it for today. Namaste from Norway. Keep watching.